Mr. Pai, welcome. Could you please introduce yourself for the audience?
My name is Satish Pai. I joined the Aditya Birla Group in August of 2013. So prior to that, for 28 years, I worked for an oil and gas service company called Schlumberger. So I started in 1985 working on an oil rig actually in Thailand. And in those 28 years after that, I worked in all the continents, did a variety of jobs from the field engineer job I started to HR, which I spent 4 years in, technology, marketing, ending up in management. And the other aspect of those 28 years, having worked in so many countries, is that it gives you a broad diversity of background, of clients, of people. You know, me and my family, we moved to many countries. So you sort of get a good feel of the cultural adaptation that you need to do in each place to do business. So after 28 years, I came back to India and I joined the Aditya Birla Group. And in the last year and a half, I started with the aluminium business. And in February of this year, I've taken over the copper business. So I'm running aluminium and copper for Hindalco.
Why do you think winning through people is important for every leader?
So I think that, you know, unless you are in an individual contributor job, like, I don't know, a single stockbroker sitting with a computer making money, in all other businesses, you are actually working with a group of people that make that business happen and succeed. So I think that, you know, for any business, having the right team, motivated team, talented team is what makes a business a success or a failure. So that's why I think that, you know, winning through people is probably the only way you can win in business.
Excellent. What is your message to managers and leaders in ABG?
The first important thing that I would want to highlight for senior management is the most important thing they can do is talent development. So the identification, training, motivation of good people is probably the most important thing that a senior management can do. Why do I say that? Because when you can identify and place people in the right job, normally then things come together. So I'll give you an example. So recently we had, you know, Aditya Smelter is one of the new projects, 13,000 crore investment that we have made. And we had a person that retired and we had to find a new smelter head. Now, what I did was, there was this guy, Kailash Pandey in Renukut. He was actually in the electrical side, not directly the smelter. But he was a young up-and-coming talent, very bright. I had met him, I was impressed. So we took him and actually transferred him from one state to the other, from one discipline to the other. Now, what I have seen now in the last 3 to 6 months is a tremendous energy, the new way of looking at things that he has brought to the job. But more important, people in the organization are now seeing that if you move, take risks, go into different types of jobs, then development, promotions, all that happens. So I think this type of talent identification, placing them in the right job, I think is a tremendously powerful message in the sense that the business does well, but then the message you give all the younger people below is also tremendously positive because everybody is looking at how do I grow. So you have to show them that the management is actively working on people's growth. So this is a good example that I thought I'll share with you.
This is really interesting. What is your second message for us?
So let me build actually on my first message to give my second message. So if talent development, talent identification is the most important thing a senior manager has to do, then my second message is that senior management should spend a lot of time with their people so that they can get to know the people, so that they keep that approachability so people can talk to them. So I think what is important, and at least what I follow, is that you have to spend substantial amount of your time not sitting in your corporate office in Mumbai or anywhere else, but actually walking the shop floor, going to your plants, spending lunch, dinners with them, going through their workplace. And I think that if you do that in their environment, what it does is it breaks down the barriers. People otherwise are very scared to talk openly to senior managers. But in their own environment, if you spend enough time with them, have lunch or dinner, at least what has worked for me is that they open up and they'll talk to you. And you get to know the real issues. But as a manager, I use those interactions to identify who are the next generation of talent. Because if you just let the normal process where somebody will tell you who's good and that person will tell the next level who is good, you will get a list of names that you don't really know. So I think that for a senior manager, the talent part, if you should know the people that you're going to promote, put in job, take risks with. And if you want to do that, you have to spend enough time walking the shop floor, getting to know the people, getting them to feel comfortable talking to you openly. So I think that this is probably my second message. Get out of the office, walk the shop floor.
That's great. What is your third message for us?
So Philip, let me follow up on the sort of theme we have been taking. So if talent management, talent identification is important, that was message one. And in message two, we sort of said to do that, you really need to spend time, get to know the people, so that you can identify that talent easier. So the third message to carry on in that theme is that this talent management process has to happen at all levels, right from a shop supervisor to the first department level to the unit head coming up. At each level, there is a job to be done in talent management. So these are, at each level, they have to play their role in getting to know their people, identifying which of their young people are the ones that we have to groom, train, motivate to get to the next level. So that's an important aspect. Now, when you do that, then the most important part of my third message is that you have to take risk with people. You cannot play too safe that I'm going to spend 15 years training someone in one job before I'm ready to give him the next level, or I need this much experience, or if I need the head of a smelter, I have to have somebody who's worked in a smelter for 20 years. If you start to do that, you will never take risks with people. So I think it's important for talent management that you look at the person. You don't take risk with anyone. You take risk with what you know is good. You already know these people. They have a track record. They have done well in their previous jobs. So, and then what you need to look at is what is their potential. What is their potential to go 1 or 2 levels above? How hungry are they? How ambitious are they? How well do they deal with their peers around them? So you're looking for these traits in people, and then you say, okay, this person, good track record, good with people, ambitious, wants to go. There you grab them and take the risk to go to the next level. So this risk-taking is not something that's done very lightly. It's based on you understanding the people that you have, understanding what they do, building on the track record they have developed, but then at a certain point pushing them faster. Everybody doesn't need to wait 10 or 15 years to go to the next level. Out of 10 people, you will find the 1 or 2 that are ready to go at a faster pace. And I think the big job of senior management is to identify those people and move them up faster. Because these are the ones, at the end of the day, it's a pyramid. The base is fairly large, and at the top, it gets down to fewer people. So the job of senior management is actually to do that filtering process so that that pyramid happens. And I think that it's very important because the chairman has given us a directive that you cannot hire from the outside, which used to be the way we do it. That means we have to internally groom and bring the people. And to do that, we will have to start to identify and accelerate the development of many of our young managers to get them to the senior level.
Finally, can you name one leader who's deeply influenced you in winning through people?
Winning through people. Where did I learn that lesson? I learned it very young in my career. I remember barely 2 years in my field engineer job. I was actually working as a field engineer in India. And the managing director of Schlumberger in India was a Norwegian guy called Magnus Sween. And I learned from him probably some of the most important lessons in people management. So this gentleman, he started as what we would call a shop floor worker. So he was not even an engineer. He started, and he finished in Schlumberger as a vice president running few countries. And what I learned from him is that he was not, by the way, the most smartest guy in the room. He was not the most technical guy in the room. But he had this incredible talent of finding the best people, surrounding himself with these best people, and then motivating the hell out of them. So what I realized is that as a senior manager, you are not the one who's supposed to be doing everything. If you surround yourself with good people and motivate them, they'll do the job for you. So that is what I saw from him. You know, I was a young field engineer, but he would call me to his house for dinner every time I passed through Delhi. He would know the names of my family members. He would ask them about me. And this he's doing for somebody who's less than 2 years in the company. I challenged how many of our senior managers know the people who join as JT, their names and their family, and it's not done, but I realized from him how powerful that can be. I thought for him I could go anywhere and do anything. By the way, he worked me to death, but I did it very happily because I trusted this guy so much. What I learned from him, that's why, is that you really have to have this knack of identifying talent, but at the same time motivating them and then building that loyalty and trust. When you build that loyalty and trust of people that work for you, then they will go and die for you. And that, I think, is where is really the ultimate successful manager. That's what I learned from him.